In our Sunrise Smart Start, the funeral of Rochester police officer Anthony MAZURKIEWICZ is set to take place in downtown Rochester. Officer MAZURKIEWICZ was fatally shot in the line of duty 11 days ago on July 21st. The procession will begin at the Public Safety Building later today. That is where we find Amel Elhel joining us live this morning with what you need to know. Amel.
Well, Allie, the funeral is being held at the Blue Cross Arena, and the procession will start here from the Public Safety Building around 11:15 this morning. Now, Officer MAZURKIEWICZ's casket was brought here last night from the funeral home in Perrington and will be taken to the Blue Cross Arena just a stone's throw from where we are now. Now, since that tragic night back on July 21st, we have learned more about who Officer MAZURKIEWICZ was. He was a veteran of the Rochester Police Department for 29 years and a member of the tactical unit. Today at the funeral, we are expecting to see a large turnout with various police agencies from across the state as well as out of state. Officers will line up along Broad Street to receive their fallen officer. That will also include Monroe County Sheriff Todd Baxter, who expects to see hundreds in attendance today.
You'll see officers from around the country. You'll see officers from Canada. This is what we do in our field, right? We show that honor and dignity when we lose one of our own. What these guys and gals do, we cherish what firefighters do, EMTs, soldiers. In our community, we should cherish and raise those things up so future generations will want to do those callings, right? That they understand this is an important part of our community.
Today's funeral is not open to the public, but full coverage will be provided to you here on News 8. Allie?
Amel, thank you so much. For today's procession, the following roads will be closed downtown: Broad Street, South Avenue, South Fitzhugh Street, Court Street, Exchange Boulevard, and parts of Main Street. Well, Tim Hicks, owner and operator of Old Town Barber Company in Penfield, saying he wants to provide some light into the dark during such a tough time by giving out free haircuts for RPD officers and their families. Hicks says he got this idea after one of his clients, who worked with the wife of Rochester police officer Anthony MAZURKIEWICZ, canceled their appointment following the officer's death. Hicks tells us that he just wants to do some good for the community and plans on doing this on the anniversary of Officer MAZURKIEWICZ's death in the following years. Governor Hochul announcing that flags will be flown half-staff on state buildings today in honor of Officer MAZURKIEWICZ. The flags lowered yesterday will continue to be lowered until tomorrow. Governor Hochul says, quote, "Every day police officers put their lives on the line to protect New Yorkers, and we will continue taking aggressive action to tackle gun violence in our communities." Switching gears now, let's go ahead and check in with James Gilbert for a look at our forecast on this Monday morning. Talking about that funeral, James, lots of people downtown this morning, and it's going to be good weather.
Yeah, certainly. No issues on roadways. We've got dry roads. We've got blue skies, a sunglasses-worthy morning for you. Temperature-wise, Walworth, one of the cooler spots, did dip into the 50s. Currently 58 degrees downtown Rochester at 64. 61 in Brockport. Greece, one of the warmer spots at 68. Greece will get up into the mid-80s this afternoon. I do think most spots mid, maybe even just into the upper 80s. It's going to be tough to get to 90 today. I do think Geneseo 86, Warsaw a bit cooler, 80 degrees. But I do have 90 degrees in the extended forecast. We'll take a look at that at the end of the show. Allie, back to you.
All right, James, thank you. No accidents out there in our sunrise traffic. Roads still looking good this morning. Should be a smooth ride into work. 390, 490, 590 running on time. Well, happening over the weekend, Rochester police responding to a male shot around 7 a.m. Saturday in the area of 496 J Street. The victim, unconscious and unresponsive at the scene, pronounced dead on arrival. Officials say the victim suffered from at least one gunshot wound to the upper body. This marks the 45th homicide this year in Rochester. Anyone with information is asked to call 911. Meanwhile, Rochester police responding to the report of a 15-year-old boy shot Sunday around 1:30 p.m. Police say they went to Rochester General Hospital, where the boy was dropped off by private vehicle. Officials confirming he was shot once in the lower body and is being treated for non-life-threatening injuries. Police say they do not know where the shooting took place. That investigation is ongoing with no suspects in custody. An 18-year-old girl suffering serious but non-life-threatening injuries after being shot Friday night on Felix Street. Officials say the victim was shot at least once in the upper body, and the victim was transported to Strong Memorial Hospital via private vehicle. No suspects are in custody. A house struck by gunfire Saturday night on the 100 block of Bloss Street. Rochester police say a person in the home called 911, reporting their house had been shot at. When officers arrived, they found evidence of the house being shot, and thankfully nobody inside the residence was harmed. No suspects are in custody. James Hunter, the Rochester man found guilty by a jury back in May, has been sentenced to 65 years to life for attempted aggravated murder of a police officer. The 55-year-old was found guilty of shooting Rochester police officer Brian Sheridan on Hague Street back in 2020. Prosecutors say Sheridan was shot twice in the incident, treated at the hospital, and released shortly after. Hunter's additional charges include burglary, criminal possession of a weapon, and criminal possession of stolen property. In health news now, Governor Kathy Hochul issuing a state disaster emergency in New York for the ongoing monkeypox outbreak. According to Hochul's office, the state disaster emergency will help New York respond quicker and offer more vaccines to the public. This also allowing more people to administer those vaccines, including EMS workers, pharmacists, and midwives. To get monkeypox alerts from New York State, text the word monkeypox to 81336. Today is World Lung Cancer Day, raising awareness about the leading cause of cancer deaths in the U.S. A new survey shows many Americans don't know about screening, which can detect the disease early for people at high risk. Danya Backus has one California woman's story.
Denise Lee passed a billboard like this every day on the way home from work in 2017, encouraging lung cancer screening for people at high risk. She had just quit smoking after 40 years.
I was just trying to all around get healthy. I did not know that there was such a thing as a low-dose CT scan until I saw that billboard.
She asked her doctor about screening, but had to wait a few months until she turned 55 to be eligible. She scheduled her scan later, and it revealed early stage 1B lung cancer.
I had my upper left lobe removed. I had 17 lymph nodes removed. And then I had some factors that were indicative of a higher rate of recurrence.
A new American Lung Association survey shows nearly 70% of Americans are not familiar with the availability of lung cancer screening for early detection.
75% of people in this country who are diagnosed with lung cancer are diagnosed at this most advanced stages where it's hardest to cure.
Dr. David Tom Cook is the chief of general thoracic surgery at UC Davis Health.
Of all the Americans who are candidates, only 5% of Americans undergo lung cancer screening.
Guidelines now recommend screening for people between age 50 and 80 with a 20-pack year smoking history. And current smokers are ones who have quit within the last 15 years. Denise had surgery and only needed 4 rounds of chemotherapy.
Early detection, saved my life. I'm just really passionate about people who are eligible getting screened.
She was also able to take part in a clinical trial testing an immunotherapy drug to try to prevent recurrence. Danya Backus, CBS News.
Danya, thank you. About 14 million Americans are considered high risk for lung cancer and are recommended for screening. For more information on your risk for lung cancer and whether you are eligible, you can take the Save by the Scan quiz from the American Lung Association. Here's what some people might be talking about at the water cooler this morning. Bill Russell, NBA star and civil rights pioneer, dies at the age of 88. Russell, the most prolific winner in NBA history, also marched with Martin Luther King Jr., stood with Muhammad Ali, and received the Presidential Medal of Freedom from Barack Obama. While playing, Russell's Celtics won 11 championships in 13 years. He also earned his last 2 NBA titles as a player-coach, the first black coach in any major U.S. sport. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver saying, quote, Bill Russell was the greatest champion in all of team sports. Will be missed, James, by so many people.
Certainly did so much more than just play the sport of basketball.
Right.
Which is great to see, to use his talents not only on the court but in other parts of life as well. We look at the forecast. You could be playing basketball outside today. A really fantastic day. Beautiful blue skies, 64 degrees. We climb into the mid-80s this afternoon. I think a few spots could just get into the upper 80s. No chance for rain through dinner time. A couple of storms possible overnight. We've got a wild ride this week, Allie. Numbers all over the place. 90s by the middle of the week.
All right, James, thank you. And thank you so much for watching News 8 at Sunrise. Our next update coming up in 30 minutes. CBS Mornings up next.